Well, I did run away from God. God asked me, Jonah, to go to Nineveh. Nineveh. Instead, I ran to the water and found a ship going the other way, to Tarshish.
Did you hear Jonah too? Oh, it isn't the real Jonah, of course. He can't talk to you. But in the clear air of Discovery Mountain, Jake could almost hear Jonah's story. Hi, I'm Miss Jean. Join me on a trip to Discovery Mountain, where the air is clear, almost clear enough to hear your imagination, and where every day is an exercise in faith. Join me for today's expedition in Discovery Mountain. Jake Donovan is running through the forest, running from something big. A few days ago, he stumbled out of the trees and into the little town of Discovery Mountain. Now, for a couple of hours, he forgot about running and hiding and not being seen. He enjoyed a cup of hot chamomile tea from Mr. Simon, charged up his laptop, and refilled his organic trail mix supply. Now refueled, Jake hiked back up into the forest, right back onto the trail that he'd been on the day before. Was he still running away, or was his change of heart in Discovery Mountain permanent?
Knapsack on my back. Along the mountain trail. Oh wow, where'd that thunder come from? It was sunny all day yesterday. Had my first dry sleep in days. Not again. I don't even have enough time to put on a raincoat. Ugh, time to run for cover. Well, that's as close as I've come to a shower in almost a week. Woohoo! I guess I needed it.
Jake crawled back into the cave that he'd spent a few nights in already. As much as he tried to move on, he kept ending up here, just outside of Discovery Mountain.
Hey, I know this place. It's the cave, that same cave. Why am I here again? I just can't seem to get away from it or the town. Well, as long as it's raining, I guess I could make a log entry and have a snack. No, I haven't tried my gluten-free lemon wafers yet. Oh no, what happened? The lemon wafers are shattered to smithereens. Huh. I guess I did use my backpack as a pillow last night, and I dragged it over that high ledge yesterday. Expedition log number 6, day 6. No lemon wafers, and I assume all crackers, wafers, or cookies just don't make good hiking supplies. Stick to trail mix. It'll never, ever let you down. Trail mix will never run around and desert you. Delete. That doesn't even make sense. Let's think here. Supplies. Trail mix running low. Maybe worth the risk of visiting the store Trekkers again. Mr. Simon and his granddaughter seem harmless enough. Almost forgot that I was running away while I was there. Almost forgot that my parents may have named me Jacob Preston Donovan. But I am Jonah. Jonah, a man on the run. I wonder what it was like for Jonah. He ran away not into the wilderness, but onto a ship. Did he have trail mix? I mean, what did he eat? Fish all day? Yuck. I wonder what it was like for him. Jonah, running away from God's call? Let's see, where did I put my Bible in this backpack? Genesis, nope, Exodus, keep turning, Jake, Amos, Obadiah. Ha! Here we are, Jonah. I wonder what Jonah ate when he was running away from God. Let's see if it tells me. Now the word of the Lord came to Jonah, the son of Amittai, saying, Arise and go up to Nineveh, that great city, and cry out against it, for their wickedness has come up before me. But Jonah arose to flee to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. Sounds familiar, but did he have time to pack a backpack and snacks? I guess I should keep reading. Let's see. He went down to Joppa and found a ship going to Tarshish, so he paid the fare and went down into it to go with them to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord.
Jake didn't know it yet, but right now, as he read his Bible in the cave, he was about to experience something special. Something that only happens in Discovery Mountain. Now, I'm told that it's because the air is so clear, you can almost hear yourself think, almost hear your imagination. Now, as Jake read about Jonah's story, he started to imagine what it was like for Jonah to run away from God. He could almost hear Jonah's voice in his imagination. See if you can hear Jonah's voice too.
Well, I did run away from God. God asked me, Jonah, to go to Nineveh. Nineveh. Instead, I ran to the water and found a ship going the other way, to Tarshish.
Did you hear Jonah too? Oh, it isn't the real Jonah. Of course, he can't talk to us. But in the clear air of Discovery Mountain, Jake could almost hear Jonah's story.
It all started when God asked me, one of his prophets, to go to the city of Nineveh and preach to the people there. The people of Nineveh weren't behaving very well. God asked me to tell them to change their ways, or he would destroy their city. I did not like that assignment. Who wants to go and tell an entire city that God's going to destroy them? And this was not just any city. This was the capital city of my country's enemy. So I ran away. Running away from God. What was I thinking? God is everywhere. He's God. I ran to the seashore. At the sea, I jumped on a ship going the opposite direction of Nineveh. It was going to Tarshish. I paid my fare and climbed down deep into the belly of the ship. I wanted to get as far away from the presence of the Lord as I could. I fell fast asleep down there, rocked by the waves. A storm came up on the sea and the waves crashed into the boat. The sailors were afraid that their boat was going to sink. I don't blame them for worrying. That boat was how they made their living. The sailors woke me up and told me to call on my God. If they only knew the truth, I was hiding from God. I wasn't about to call on him for help. The sailors then cast lots to see who was causing this storm. They got their answer. I was the cause of their storm. Everyone turned and looked at me, and I had to be honest. I told them that I, Jonah, was a Hebrew. I told them that I worshiped the God of heaven who made the sea and dry land. It wasn't easy, but I also told those tough sailors that I was running away from this same Creator God. You should have seen their faces. These strong men looked really scared when I told them that. There was only one way to save the sailors and their ship, and I told them to do it. I told them to throw me into the sea. The sailors knew the water was dangerous, and instead of throwing me right overboard, they tried again to row to shore. But it was no use. The storm was raging, and they couldn't get to shore. So the men lifted me in their arms and threw me into the sea. Almost instantly, the waters calmed. The storm stopped, and I could see that the men and their ship were going to be okay. Then I saw it. The biggest fish I had ever seen. Suddenly, it was beside me, and before I knew what was happening, the water swirled, and I was in its mouth. I closed my eyes tight, and when I had the nerve to open them again, it's hard to believe, but I was inside that fish's belly. I was alive. Inside the fish's dark, smelly cavern, I prayed. Oh, I poured my heart out to God. I talked to him like I'd never done before. He heard me, and at last the Lord spoke to the fish, and he vomited me out on dry land. It was not a pleasant experience. I'll never forget that smell. Again, God asked me to go to the city of Nineveh, and this time I didn't mess around. It took 3 days to get to Nineveh, so I had 3 days to think about my time in the fish's belly and the conversations I had with God. I preached my heart out. In 40 days, Nineveh will be overthrown. 40 days, Nineveh will be overthrown. I, Jonah, told the people of Nineveh that in 40 days God would destroy their city. But God didn't destroy it. This was the whole reason that I ran away from him in the first place. I know that God is gracious and merciful, slow to anger and full of kindness, great kindness. I had reasoned that the people of Nineveh would probably stop their evil ways and turn back to God, and so God would then spare their city. And that's exactly what happened. But God showed me that I ran away because of my own pride. I was worried about and thinking about myself, and not these people that needed this message from Him. Yes, I ran away from God, but He got my attention. I spent 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of that fish. Phew! But I prayed, and the Lord answered my prayer. He showed me that God loves people everywhere. God loves even those people who are my enemies in a foreign land. My story is perhaps the greatest missionary story of all time. God asked me to go to a faraway place and preach His message of love and salvation to people. I was afraid. I ran away. But God gave me another chance. God really loved the people of Nineveh. Even though I stubbornly ran away from God's call, He used me as a missionary anyway. I'm so thankful that God used even me.
God even used Jonah. Whoa, what happened? It's like I could actually hear Jonah talking. I could actually imagine what it was like to be him all those many years ago. God called Jonah to be a missionary, and he ran away. He ran to the sea, got in a boat. I'm running away too, and somehow I just keep coming back to this cave. Well, I guess it's better than the belly of a fish. Ugh. Lord, I can't believe I'm saying this, but thanks for the cave.
Jake just experienced something unique to Discovery Mountain. The mountain air is so clear that sometimes when the circumstances are just right, you can think clearly and almost hear your imagination. Did you hear it too? Now, did Jake take away the right message from Jonah's story? We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with the second half of today's episode.
Well, hey there, I'm Jake. As you listen to Discovery Mountain, are you imagining what I look like? Jamie told you I look barely older than a teenager, but what does that mean exactly? Well, you don't have to guess. Check out discoverymountain.com and you can see exactly what I look like. You can meet other characters too. Just look for the character section at discoverymountain.com.
Hi, I'm Jean Boonstra. Now, kids, I know that you likely aren't listening alone, and this message is for the moms, dads, and grandparents that are listening along with you. Discovery Mountain is a brand new program for kids brought to you by the Voice of Prophecy. Now, the Voice of Prophecy has been around for a long time, more than 85 years. And this program is just one of several that we have available right now or are planning to roll out in the very near future. So I invite you to listen to our flagship program called Disclosure, hosted by my husband, Sean Boonstra. Now, Disclosure is a 1-hour program featuring relevant topics for today. You can listen to Disclosure on all the major podcast platforms, on iHeartRadio, and online at disclosureradio.com. You've fed your kids spiritually. Now take a little time for you. That's disclosureradio.com.
Hi, Mr. Simon. Is Jamie here?
Hi there, Kayla. No, Jamie's still at home, I believe. I haven't seen her or Gadget yet this morning. Sorry, I don't have any chocolate-covered strawberries right now. You're my best customer for those.
Well, they are delicious. Hey, Mr. Simon, do you need someone to run the cash register or clean up around here this summer?
Well, let me think about that, Kayla. I just might. But what about summer camp? Don't tell me you're too old for summer camp already.
No, I'll never be too old for Discovery Mountain Camp, ever. But I need to make some money. I could still work during camp if you need someone. Oh, I just realized. Sorry, Mr. Simon. I just didn't think about it. Now that Jamie's here, I'm sure she'll be working for you this summer. You won't need anyone else after all.
Well, not so fast. Jamie and I haven't talked about it. She's getting pretty good on the cash register, but she might not want to work for her old granddad.
Oh, Mr. Simon, every teenager knows Checkers is the best place to work, at least until you're 18. Then you can work at camp.
Well, I'm glad to know this is the second best place to work anyway. I'll think about it, Kayla, and let you know, I promise. But you came here looking for Jamie. Why don't you run over and wake her up?
Okay. She said she's in one of the cabins near the camp. Which one is it?
The Finnegan's old cabin. Do you know which one it is?
Oh, yeah. Mrs. Finnegan used to make the best chocolate caramel Christmas cookies. I miss her.
More chocolate, huh?
Yeah. Bye, Mr. Simon. Thanks, and remember me for that job.
Oh, hey, Kayla.
Hey, Jamie. I hope you don't mind. I stopped by the store and Mr. Simon, or your granddad, told me where you live. I thought I'd stop by and say hi to you and Gadget.
He's sure happy to see you. I am too. Come inside.
Well, the rain stopped. We should have a few hours until the next thunderstorm hits. How about I show you and Gadget around Discovery Mountain Camp? Have you explored it yet?
Sounds good. Let me grab my sweatshirt. We haven't explored the camp yet, just kind of gone between here, the store, and the hospital. So I've wondered, it's Discovery Mountain Camp, and the town is also called Discovery Mountain. Which one came first?
Well, you know the story, of course, about how the camp was founded.
I'm not sure. Remind me of the details.
You don't know? Well, this whole town was founded by Mr. Simon, your granddad. He discovered it. If you don't know the story, you should ask him to tell you. It's his story, not mine. And besides, I'll probably mess up the details. Come on, I'll show you the boys' cabins. In another month, when summer camp starts, we're not allowed anywhere near them.
Jamie followed Kayla along the winding dirt paths that connected the different parts of Discovery Mountain Camp. Gadget clipped along behind them, stopping to sniff and explore as they went. They passed the boys' cabins with the cabin names carved into the wooden door frames. They turned around at the end of those, past the big teepee near the camp entrance, circled around to the other side of the lake, and past Trekkers. Now, behind the store, Kayla led Jamie up a path that eventually led to the girls' cabins.
I love these cabins. What's summer camp like up here?
In the summer, this camp is the best place on earth. I've been coming to camp here since I was little. This close to the lake, you can hear the wind on the water at night. And the food is so good. Or maybe it's just that I'm so hungry during camp. Oh, and the campfire songs are amazing. Mr. G, he's kind of crazy, but we all love his music. Come on, let's keep going. I want to show you the fire pit.
Whoa, I thought we had a couple hours until the next thunderstorm.
Well, that's the thing about Discovery Mountain. The air is clear, but the weather is totally unpredictable. Just wait until winter. 1 minute it's snowing, the next it's sunny and warm. This place is pretty unique, but I love it here. I would never live anywhere else.
Come on, let's go back to my house before it starts pouring. What's a tree's favorite drink?
Root beer.
Do you want some hot cocoa or tea?
No, I'm okay. Hey, do you have Wi-Fi here? I can show you our school website. There are pictures of the kids in our class.
Wi-Fi? No. Kayla, look around at where I'm living. You're sitting on a gold-colored couch that's clearly been well used, and I'm sitting on avocado green carpet. Look at the orange and brown flowered wallpaper in the kitchen, and the dark brown countertops. When's the last time you saw that color wallpaper in a kitchen?
When's the last time I saw wallpaper, period?
This cabin's cozy. I love it. It's just the right size for my mom and me. But Wi-Fi? No. That's a part of my life I will never get back.
Well, the school has Wi-Fi, and so does Miss Lucy's cafe in town. And I'm not really supposed to tell my friends this, but we have Wi-Fi at our house. You know, because my dad's a policeman. He just doesn't want all the local teenagers making it some sort of hangout.
Okay, I won't tell, I promise. Hey, Miss Lucy's cafe. That's where my mom said she first had a smoothie. Now she's addicted.
Miss Lucy used to make the best smoothies, but she doesn't run the cafe anymore. She moved down to the city and her son runs the place. It's more of a burger and fries place now. Oh, they have the best sweet potato fries and Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi and sweet potato fries. That's a good combination.
Yeah, well, I better head home before the thunder starts. So far, the rain is just a trickle. We should check out Miss Lucy's cafe next week.
Okay, sounds good. Stay dry.
Jamie watched Kayla run down the cabin stairs, past Granddad's cabin, and she watched until she disappeared around the corner. She sighed contentedly. You know, it was a new experience to have a friend she felt so comfortable with. Jamie picked up her book and dropped onto the small, low sofa by the cabin window. Now, from this spot, she looked out at the mountainside. It was a cozy spot. The fabric on the sofa was worn soft and smooth by others before Jamie, who had also found it just the right place to read a good book on a rainy afternoon. She opened her book and picked up the story where she'd left off that morning. Do you remember how earlier Jake could almost hear Jonah's voice in his imagination as he thought about the story of the prophet running away from God? Well, right now, Jamie is so absorbed in her book that she can almost hear the voice of the main character, Eleanor, in her mind.
Oh, John, I just can't do it. I just can't imagine God is asking me to leave my parents, never to see them again. Has God really asked us to leave our home, our family, everything we've ever known and move to America? Would God really ask us to do that?
Who is it?
Jamie, it's me. I left my house key on your beautiful gold couch. Let me in. Hey, that must be a good book. You were pretty absorbed in it.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. It's about Eleanor. She was a Puritan in England, and she and her husband left everything behind when God called them to America. I've been reading her story, and it's really good. I can almost hear her voice as I read.
Wow, let me see your book. It does look good. May I borrow it when you're done with it?
Yeah, sure.
Were you thinking about her story instead of reading? Imagining what it must have been like for Eleanor to leave her family behind because of her faith?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. How'd you know?
Sometimes, and I can't explain it, but some say it's the clear air. If the circumstances are just right, you can hear your own imagination.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know, but it happens to me when I'm really absorbed in a good story. It only happens here in Discovery Mountain. You aren't hearing the people's actual voices, silly. Eleanor isn't alive anymore, but you're hearing it in your imagination. I told you this place is special. Now toss me my key. I need to scoop before the thunder comes.
Okay, bye, Kayla. I really want to get back to my story anyway.
My dear John, I love you and the children, but to never see my dear Papa again? And my dear mother, she will faint with tears before we leave. Oh, John, are you sure that God is calling us to America? To begin a new life, all for our faith? John, I must be absolutely sure.
Jamie read about what it was like for Eleanor to leave everything behind when God called her family to a new country. She felt glad that she had her mom, Gadget, and Granddad with her. But she missed her dad. And she even missed her sister, Natasha. She still wasn't absolutely sure that God had called her to Discovery Mountain. But each day, Jamie believed a little more that this was part of his plan. Now, if Jamie had been looking outside her window instead of being completely absorbed in her book, she would have seen a now familiar figure in the woods just behind Granddad's yard. Jake moved slowly from tree to tree, his open raincoat held above his head like a makeshift umbrella.
I just can't seem to get away from this place. As soon as I leave, the rain starts, as if someone wants me to stay here. Doesn't matter how far I hike, I just keep on coming back. Jake, you're officially out of your tree. You just keep going around and around. Back to the cave you go.
Jake and Jamie have both experienced something special about Discovery Mountain. The air is clear enough to hear your imagination. Now you can read more about the prophet Jonah right in your Bible at home. The verses that Jake read in the cave are Jonah chapter 1, verses 1 to 3. Look them up and learn more about this man of God. Well, what did Jake mean when he said that he's a Jonah? And did Eleanor's story help Jamie to figure out if she is meant to be in Discovery Mountain? Join us for the next episode of this story when God asks, "What will I say?"
Hi, I'm Director Doug, Director of Discovery Mountain. I have a good imagination, and when I'm reading a really good story, I can almost hear the characters talking in my mind. How about you? Have you had that happen to you as well? Well, when you listened to this episode, did you imagine what the characters look like? We did too, and we drew pictures of them for you. Visit our website to see if Jamie, Jake, and the others look like you imagine. That's discoverymountain.com.
I'm Miss Jean, and you've been listening to Discovery Mountain, where the air is clear enough to hear your imagination, and where every day is an exercise in faith. To listen to other episodes and to send us a message, visit us at discoverymountain.com or write to us at Discovery Mountain, P.O. Box 999, Loveland, Colorado 80539. And in Canada, write to Box 2127, Oshawa, Ontario, Canada, L1H7V4. This is a production of The Voice of Prophecy. Join us again next time here at Discovery Mountain, where every day is an exercise in faith.